Hello everyone, it's Imran here. Welcome back to another video. So, I'm going to react to another Kiefer Adams, Thomas and Friends audio story it is. This is episode 9 of season 6 called Highland Engines. Last time one I reacted to was episode 8 and that was Steam Bags and Horse Trams. It was Thomas making fun of something that is Coppin's story it was. You want to see me check that out, I'll have it up in the top right corner of your screen. So I don't have far to go. I've been trying to catch up on all of Kiefer's audio stories I have, because obviously I wasn't able to react to season 6 when the videos came out because of stuff that was going on. So I've been playing catch up this past week or two, and to make sure I really catch up, I'm gonna react to 4 audio stories. So all 4 my uploads today will be audio stories of this. I know a lot of you are probably getting a bit fed up of me of my constant uploads being reactions to Kiefer's audio stories, but because I didn't react to it, this is the consequence of me not reacting to them when they first came out due to stuff going on. This one was September 29th, it was. So hopefully by next week I would have reacted to seasons to all 16 episodes from season 6 I have, and I decided to do 4 today because I really 4 today so I can make sure to get that end so the end comes faster. So you guys so the uploads of me reacting to Kiefer's audio stories constantly doesn't last any longer. So I'm going to do 4 audio stories today, starting off with this one, Highland Engines. And there's actually a few interesting ones that I actually want to watch, so why not watch it all in one day? So Highland Engines. So this is a Donald and Douglas audio story. It is. So it's been a while since Kiefer's given Donald and Douglas their own audio story outing. So yeah, apparently this one's set during season 9 as well. Like I said, throughout this season 6 of his audio stories, Kiefer has been giving the hit era a lot of love. He has. Glad he has done that. Link for I'm reacting to in the description down below as always. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get straight into this.
Highland Engines. Written and told by Kiefer Adams. It was evening on the island of Sodor, and all the engines were returning home following a good day's work.
Okay.
Gordon had just finished with the express and was making his way back to Tidmouth Sheds. Up ahead, he could see Donald and Douglas. The Scottish twins were rather excited. "You seem to be in good spirits," said Gordon. "Has Lord Callan given you another special?" "It's better than that," said Donald. "Evander's coming to the island." "Who's Evander?" asked Gordon.
One of Kiefer's OC characters,
"Evander is a friend of ours from Scotland," replied Douglas. "He's a Highland engine." Gordon raised an eyebrow. "A Highland engine?" "Och, of course," chuckled Donald. "That's the nickname we gave his class. They're all painted in a rich yellow coat like our Molly." "It'll be so exciting to see old Evander again,"
that's why it's called
said
a Highland
Douglas.
engine.
"He's coming to the island tomorrow with his enthusiasts. I'm sure they're going to love the island of Sodor like the mountains of Scotland back home." "Well then," said Gordon, "we'll make this Evander feel especially welcome."
That's
Gordon
good to hear from
then
you, Gordon.
puffed back to Tidmouth Sheds to tell the others the good news. Donald and Douglas returned to the sheds of the Little Western, excited to see their old friend again. The next morning, Donald and Douglas were making a delivery of supplies to Marron Station.
Is that Evander?
Douglas's trucks had just been unloaded when a loud, shrill whistle was heard.
That's Evander right
"It's
there.
him, Doggy!" cried Donald with excitement. And sure enough, a large yellow tender engine puffed up beside them.
"Oh, great,"
he growled.
57646 and 57647.
Ooh, he doesn't
Donald
look all
and
friendly.
Douglas were surprised. "Don't you remember us, Evander?" asked Donald.
"Too well, that's the trouble."
Evander sniffed.
Ooh.
"Don't think I've forgotten all the juvenile quips you used to pull back on our old lane."
The twins could not believe what they had heard. "We're not those engines anymore, Evander," said Douglas.
Yeah, that changed.
"And if you don't mind for the future, our names are Donald and Douglas now. There's no need to call us by our former numbers."
"I'll call you whatever I want.
scowled Evander.
After all, engines of your tricks and traits back then didn't they deserve names?"
Oh,
And with that, Evander puffed
So I'm guessing that Donald and Douglas were quite mischievous on their old railway, and that's why Evander doesn't really has given them a cold reception upon seeing them again.
Snootily away. I can't believe it, spluttered Donald. Neither do I, said Douglas crossly. I didn't expect him to be so grouchy after all these years. A little later, Donald and Douglas made another delivery to the chocolate factory. As they rested in a siding, for Donald to take on water and Douglas to follow suit, Thomas came past. Well, hello, boys, he puffed. Gordon was telling us about your visiting friend. Have you seen him? Aye, and we wish we hadn't now, scowled Donald. What's wrong? Asked Thomas. By the sounds of what Gordon told us, you were excited to see your, Evander, was it? Aye, if he wasn't so cross with us for how we were in the old days, said Douglas. Well, long before we came to the Fat Controller's Railway, said Donald, we were quite the young tearaways. We caused trouble and tricks for the other engines.
Oh.
Evander was an easy target, added Douglas. But you'd think, being an engine a little older than us, he would have moved on from it all. Clearly not, said Donald. So we've decided to keep a wide berth from him. If he doesn't want to know us, then so be it. It's disappointing, admitted Douglas, but, it's his choice at the end of the day. Well, don't let him bring you down, reassured Thomas. After all, just because he was rude to you doesn't mean you should do the same. He is a visitor to our island, and we should make him feel welcome. And Thomas puffed away with his thoughts. Donald and Douglas were not so sure if they did want to make Evander feel welcome at all.
Oh, that last scene right there was actually a deleted scene from Edward the Great right there. Donald and Douglas were meant to make a small cameo appearance right there, but fortunately they were cut for time, which I don't understand. I still like Edward the Great. I think it's a good episode, but it would have been even better with Donald and Douglas in that cameo.
Later that day, Evander was puffing through the valley with his enthusiast train. Unfortunately, he was not feeling well.
Oh dear.
He wasn't sure why. Maybe it was bad coal, maybe it was contaminated water. He didn't know. But whatever it was, he was growing sicker by the minute.
Good.
Evander tried climbing a steep hill.
That's not going to work.
Almost took it out of him.
I'm sorry, driver,
he panted.
I didn't think I can make another wheel turn.
Eventually, Evander had to admit defeat and stopped just outside a small junction. His passengers were anxious. We might as well call for help, said Evander's driver. The fireman went back down the line for a telephone box.
Right there. My favourite YouTube
All Evander can do was groan. He secretly felt like he had let his enthusiasts down.
Aww.
A few minutes later, Evander's fireman returned. The Fat Controller's just sent some help up the lane, he reassured the driver. They'll be here in a few minutes. Evander was starting to wonder who had come to his rescue, until two very familiar deep-toned whistles caught him by surprise. Donald and Douglas puffed up side by side next to Evander. Did someone call for a wee bit of help? Said Donald. The twins couldn't be cross at a time of an emergency. This surprised Evander.
I never expected you two to turn up,
he puffed. That's what we're here for, said Douglas. Yep. Despite what has happened, we're always happy to help.
Well,
that's good to hear, twins.
Douglas,
said Evander with a small smile.
Thank you very much.
The twins were delighted to help. Donald took Evander as far as the next station, where Henry was more than happy to take the Highland engine to the works to be checked over. Douglas then backed onto the train, and when Donald joined him a few minutes later, they managed to get Evander's enthusiasts home. The twins were quite pleased to have helped, and the Fat Controller couldn't resist singing their praises for a job well done. That evening, Donald was just finishing some shunting at the big station. He was resting in the shed when Douglas pulled in. "Och, Donald, there you are," he called. I'm not difficult to find, Donald chuckled. How's Evander? Well, Edward saw him at the works while he was having his tubes checked, replied Douglas. He told me that Evander's doing just fine. He'll be ready for his return journey tomorrow. Excellent, said Donald. Here, Dougie, wasn't it nice for him to call us by name for a change instead of our old numbers? Hey, it was, said Douglas. Do you know what? I think we've finally won him over after all these years.
Hooray!
He now understands what we Scots can do. Donald humbly agreed. As Douglas had said, Evander recovered quickly and was soon out of the way the next day with his enthusiast special, heading home for Scotland. Donald and Douglas couldn't resist a verse or two of their favourite song, Auld Lang Syne, as Evander pulled away. The Highland engine made his own promise, to let the engines of the Scottish region know that Donald and Douglas, formerly 57646 and 57647 in their younger days,
that won't ever get old. I'll never
were
get my
doing
head
just fine and enjoying their new life and friends on the Fat Controllers Railway.
That's it. Wow. That was actually felt like a decent Donald and Douglas story you would get in the hit era, it would, right there. I mean, I really do like how Evander gave them, how Evander gave them a cold reception he did because of their past trickery, but he was able to see that they had changed, and Donald and Douglas learned that just because someone's rude to you, don't be rude to them back. And they, like I said, definitely proved it right there. So really glad that they were able to make up with each other and win him over. And I really like Thomas's words of wisdom right there. I will admit that Thomas did appear a bit too much in the hit era, but if Thomas appears in the episode and it's for a good reason, like what we saw right there, I think it definitely works perfectly. It is, but this definitely felt like a lost episode from season 9. It did probably my favorite hit era season, if I'm being honest with you, like the Thomas Cynic and the Yellow Scourge, like. So yeah, I don't mind this whole Steam Team concept that was introduced in the hit era. Just don't have every episode focus on them. Just focus on some of the other characters, like Donald and Douglas, for example. Because this felt like a Donald and Douglas episode that would work well in the hit era, as Keith instructed it right there. So yeah, really glad that Donald and Douglas got another audio story out in Kiefer. And make sure you all stay tuned because I'm going to do the Sodor Lights next. I am, and then I'm going to do the other two after that. Obviously, I am. You do want to see my previous Thomas reactions. Whenever it's an audio story or transaction, I'll have a playlist up in the top right corner of your screen right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button for me. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this audio story I reacted to. Also, let me know in the comments down below what other videos you want me to react to next. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. Links to both of them will be in the description down below. Share this video, subscribe if you're new here, ring that bell to get notified when I upload new videos when I post the community tab, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!